and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Okay, Ms. Capabianca. Here. Mr. Corey is excused. Mr. Pettis.
Here.
Mr. DiPolito is excused. Ms. Coleman here. Mr. Kisco.
Here.
Mr. Putnam.
Here.
Ms. Richardson. Here. Ms. Toder.
Here.
Mayor Carlvoda representing. Mr. Barlow.
Here.
Ms. Ferguson. Here. Ms. Plumazewski.
Here.
Ms. Lebowski.
Here.
Mr. Petroselli.
Here.
Ms. Schulte.
Here.
Ms. Ians.
She went home ill. You don't want her.
Excused.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda, moving item 5, school community service, public participation, and moving that to number 10, which is now action items, then making action items number 11. We've got a request from staff because they're held up in conferences until 6:30 for us to move the public comment, so.
It'll actually make it number 9. Action item will be 10.
Okay, I see. Because we're moving 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyone want to move that
So-
motion?
I'll move it.
Second. Any discussion? All
Sue
those in favor?
Aye.
and Jeff.
That person, so that's just getting moved before the action items, the school community service, public participation.
Recognitions. We have parent conferences, so we just decided to bump them till next month. And same reason for the student reports. We'll wait till next year.
I just would like to recognize the cafeteria staff. I think that they did such an amazing
So
job last
amazing.
night. The food was spectacular. They
Yeah.
worked so hard. It was great, so greatly appreciated by all of their work. No students tonight, so we will be removing that as well. Report, superintendent's report.
So we had 2 events on Saturday. US History Day was rescheduled, so it wasn't as well attended as it usually is, but still our students did a great job. We had middle school students, high school students in second place, first place, and some of them will move on to the state championship, which is really exciting, and hopefully maybe even the nationals. So we will see. And then we'll acknowledge those students at next month's board meeting, which will be excellent. We had the kindergarten fair. We had many different activities. Many of you have participated before, so you know all the different activities. Just trying to get parents and students to understand about kinder readiness skills and movement and scissor cutting and just all those things. And our community partners continue to amaze me because they show up each and every time and really help our families understand what services are available and help them feel supported, because our parents are probably more nervous than our children. Once they get to see other kids, they relax, they come down, they're excited. The parents are still a little nervous. So I think it helps allay some of the jitters and the fears. And you may not have noticed, but March is Board Appreciation Month. So in front of you, you have your little goodie bag or goodie cooler. And so hopefully you enjoy some of those. It's just a blend of heartfelt, very sweet, some snacks, a little bit of everything in there. There actually is, yes, you can open them now. They're so good. I went around and told people, don't open them. So be careful, there's an upper part and a lower part. But while you're doing that, there's also a little ode to the board. And so I will read it to you while you're looking through your packet. And we have been talking, Sue and her OTL team, about the reading program over and over and over again. So this is with inspiration from Dr. Seuss's Sam I Am, Green Eggs and Ham, and Susan Jarrell's little twist on Ode to a Teacher, so that she did during COVID. So it goes as follows. I am a board member. Yes, I am. Every decision puts me in a jam. What should I do? I do not know. Will it impact the status quo? Will I decide yes or no? Even a policy doesn't seem to make it so. Just suck it up is what they'll say. A board member must go on anyway. Budget, policy, facilities and tech, discussion, debate. Heck yeah, you bet. I'll be there meeting after meeting, trying to do my best to do some leading. I will meet you here or there. I will meet you anywhere. I will meet near and far, in a room, on a field, or from my car. I will even meet, oh yes, I'm gonna say, in a bar. Alice got a minute, they can steal, even when I'm eating my meal. Always asking if there can be a repeal. Will they like it? We shall see. But no one's more dedicated than the BOE. I think we need a little levity.
We need to frame this.
I'll send you better copies. I'll send it to you electronically. But thank you so much for all the countless hours. I know that people don't quite understand that you are not paid, that you get interrupted no matter where you are. I mean, I've heard people, board members being interrupted at weddings and funerals, in the grocery line. No matter where you are, nothing is sacred, and people don't understand the hours, the time. And sometimes, I know this seems impossible, the flack that you might get for some kind of decision that you might have made, or a policy or what have you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We're very grateful.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Office of Teaching and Learning update.
And I have to follow that. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
have a phone for it.
But
We'll wait till next month.
The reading.
Sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, all right, next meeting.
Oh, precious time.
Oh, jeez. No, tonight I just really wanted to take an opportunity to update you on our efforts around student and family engagement. You're probably tired of hearing me talk about it, but there's some really exciting things to share. So I just for a little context, I kind of just want to review really quickly. I'm not sure how many of you are aware that we were doing home visits many years ago. We had staff trained in a home visiting model called parent-teacher home visiting back when we were awarded the preschool development grant. And that was part and parcel of that whole program. So all of our preschool teachers were trained. Home visits were just part of the context of what happened. Because the PDG program was housed at each school, kind of the idea of home visiting caught on with the other primary grade teachers. So we trained kindergarten and first grade teachers, and then other elementary schools in the district heard about it and they wanted in on the action. So I would like to say, just when COVID hit, we probably had 25 to 30 staff members already trained in home visiting. So we were poised, I guess is the point, right? When we were tapped to participate in the LEAP home visiting program, we already had a culture for it, which helped us to be successful. So fast forward, we heard about LEAP, we were gonna get this LEAP grant, one of 15 districts in the state. We were chosen because of the challenges that we face as a district. Put out an all call to staff. We had 65 staff members raise their hands and say, pick me, I want to do this. We have a crisis on our hands. Prior to COVID, our chronic absentee rate hovered around 10–11%. And at the height of the pandemic, we were up to 35–38%. Everybody wanted to do their part. We had teachers, para-educators, secretaries, administrators, custodians get trained in the LEAP model. A little bit of a different style than the pre-K one, but nonetheless, it was really all about establishing trusting relationships. So we've been immersed in this work throughout the past 2 years. We still have a ways to go. I'm not going to sit here and tell you we're back to 10–11% because we're not. But we're still running below the state average every month. So we're very happy about that. As a result, Torrington has been recognized statewide and now nationally for our work. I know I keep bragging about this, but I'm so proud of the work that our home visitors are doing. Back in January, we were contacted by our reps at the State Department, and they sent a group called the Collaborative for Student Success from Washington, D.C. to our district office. They made a video that I'm going to show you in just a minute. It's very short, just a couple of minutes. You'll see some familiar faces in the video. That video has been used as a promotional. They actually made two videos, but we're just going to look at one. They're both promotional videos to really promote the importance and the effectiveness of home visiting as a strategy for student and family engagement. A couple of weeks ago, because this video has kind of gone far and wide, we were contacted by the United States Department of Education. And yesterday, I had the honor of participating on a panel hosted by the USDE all about this to really share the good news from Torrington. We were billed as a bright spot in the nation for student and family engagement. So the shout out and the thank you goes to our home visitors and our families who have participated in this program. It is extremely successful, very effective. It's had many unintended positive outcomes. It has a lot to do with the reason that we had so many of our kids complete the FAFSA, just building those trusting relationships. And really, I think what's been the most, I don't know, just sort of the takeaway for me is that when you shift the parent-teacher conference, if you will, into somebody's living room, it's a game changer. It changes the dynamic incredibly. So anyway, we're living proof. So Josh, can you tee up that video? Thank you. course, the links to both the videos so that you can watch it. It's a little bit clearer. So we're very, very excited.
Great work to everyone involved. It's amazing. Really amazing. Yeah. Any questions on the lead program? So will we be able to continue this next year?
So we have funding for one more year, and the state of Connecticut hired an independent third-party organization to evaluate the effectiveness, and that report has been published. I think I gave it to you in a folder maybe a month ago. And yes, it has shown that it's very effective. So they're lobbying the legislature to continue funding this program. So we see, and in the meantime, we look for other funding streams to continue it, because it really is very, very, very effective.
Special education update.
Okay, we'll keep it really short and sweet. This time I've been doing a lot of talking lately, so short. I just wanted to give you an update on our numbers. So we are up quite a bit. We've picked up 17 since the last reporting period. The majority of that is our pre-K. As we know, that always seems to at least double during the year. So we're up to 85 students in our pre-K now. And then in addition to that, we've got 5 more in district. Typically this time of year, we start to see more referrals, especially coming from home. And sometimes I think that's because of worries, especially when kids are going to move on to the next school. So, we'll get referrals coming in. I'm worried my child's not learning. And so, and we also are trying to get our evaluations done, because after April, it gets very difficult to finish an evaluation before the end of the year. So there's kind of always this little rush at this time of year to get them done. So there has been a little bit of an increase. However, we also had more students in district. So our prevalence rate is still, it actually dropped a tiny bit, still hovering around that 14%. So that's all good. And in addition to that, there are 11 more students on the gen ed side that have new 504 plans. So a lot of interventions in place, as we've been talking about the past few weeks. And I think this is all.
I just want to clarify, just for the record, because someone reached out to me when we posted this.
Yes.
Basically stating that if we didn't have a pre-K, this wouldn't be the case. But it's my understanding that with the Birth Through 3 program, even if we didn't have an in-house preschool, we would still be getting these referrals.
Yeah, exactly. Before a child's 3rd birthday, if there is a reason to suspect a disability, by child find regulations, we need to determine if we need to evaluate that child. So even if we did not have our own special ed programming, we would need to be figuring out where we were going to program for that child. And that's not an easy feat, because there aren't many private special education, like outplacement kind of facilities. So it's something that we really need to be doing. And some of these children have received in-home services from birth to 3. So for 4 years at home, they've been getting services because there are concerns with delays and whatnot. So that's when we go to evaluation.
I just want to make sure people understand that, and also obviously it benefits the children academically if they're getting the supports early on. Absolutely. Questions on the special ed update? HR update.
I too am going to be short and sweet. It's that weird time of year where we're starting to transition because we're looking for next year's teachers. So you will see on the vacancies, the 2 vacancies that we have, we filled those with qualified subs right now through the end of the year. And we are now looking at graduates to be able to fill our positions permanently for next year. It's just a better time of year to be able to do that. We were actually at UConn yesterday and had a great day. And so I think we have found some potential excellent candidates for next year. For next month, I'll try to give you an update of our vacancies, but we have posted next year's vacancies already. We now have them out on the website. We're advertising them. We have a flyer that we take to the job fairs, so we're really focusing on those positions. For our non-certified, you'll see that we've made some movement on our classified positions, and I'm actually happy to say that even since I submitted this on Friday, we've hired one more para and one more CAF worker, so we are down to one cafeteria vacancy. Just want to say that for now, because that's really great. We've had some internal movement, so we still have some positions available, but we're working on interviewing and filling those. Our sub rates continue to be challenging, and our absences continue, as I think we talked about before. There's just been a lot of different things going around, and so we're continuing to see high absences. As far as my updates below, you can see job fairs is really the biggest of our thing. We went to the Torrington City Hall for the Northwest Chamber job fair, and that was really excellent. So Lisa Schemmels and one of our teachers, Stephanie Fletcher, went and recruited several para candidates, so that was great. And then, as I said, UConn, we're going to be doing mock interviews at Quinnipiac University and at Central Connecticut State University for student teachers who are looking for their placements and for new graduates who are looking for placements. So we're trying to get out there a lot and really just, try to find the best people as early as we can. I did hold another new teacher check-in. And so those are being very well received, as are the office hours that we've been doing. And as far as wellness goes, we're going to be doing our 6-week yoga program that we've done twice a year. That's very well received by our staff. And we are now getting ready for our 6th annual walking challenge. We started doing our welcome gifts and everything today, so we're getting ready for that. And then you can see our, again, our fill rates continue to be a challenge. And then our retention is actually good comparatively to where we were last year. So we're actually doing well with that. So I think some of those initiatives that we're doing, the check-ins, the HR, office visits and the site visits and all those things, I think those are really helpful.
Just on the fill rate, that says percentage of filled jobs, percentage filled by TPS. Does that mean that about 35% of the positions are being filled by Kelly?
Yes. Yep.
It's 28% of the 51%.
It's 28% of the ones that are filled.
So you're
Yes.
filling 15% of the total fill
Correct,
internally,
yes.
and the rest is going to Kelly.
That's correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
Relay graduate program.
So the Relay Graduate Program and the Blue Board Program are the programs that we discussed at the budget subcommittee meeting, and I'm happy to entertain any questions if the board continues to have questions, but those are really our programs for pathways for our classified staff to be able to look to become certified teachers, ways that we can support them. So I gave you all the stuff again in case.
Great opportunity for our staff.
We've gotten a lot of excitement about the one that the board already approved, so I'm super excited to be offering this to our staff. Blue Board, same thing. It's another program for our classified staff as a pathway. So we're just looking for the board to support.
These are the two we talked about, right?
Correct, yes.
Any other questions on either of those programs?
Yes, as substitute services. You're a lot of.
Again,
tonight.
I know. That's why my HR report was short, because I knew I had the next two items on the agenda. So ESS, again, as we've talked about at several budget subcommittee meetings, we've been concerned about the substitute fill rates. And so, this year I looked at other options. Our friends from ESS are here tonight. So if you have any questions, we're happy to answer those. But I think we're excited about a new partnership to see what we can do to help get substitutes in the classrooms.
I was going to say, I think this is long overdue. I'm happy that we're looking at an alternative. So thank you for all your work in vetting this and finding something to bring to us. Hopefully we can get our fill rate a little better next year.
Presentation was helpful.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Budget 2023, 2024. Just wanted to give a quick update of a couple of changes we're making. So as everyone knows, the legislation passed on the air pollution, air quality, which maybe is going to get overturned, maybe we might not have to do all of it, but right now, what's in the books is that we have to do it. So I think that we should put in the budget the full amount, notify the city, and then if for some reason something changes, we can let them know when we go before them, sometime late April or May. But that way, we've accounted for it in the budget, because right now it is passed legislation. So how everyone's gonna do it is really the question. But, so I've added that unless anyone is opposed to us adding that.
We'll support it being in, it should be in.
And like I said, hopefully they're gonna take a step back on this because it's unrealistic. But there's not physically enough companies to do this with. But right now we're required. So with that, I will turn it over to Sue or Scott. I'm not sure what other changes.
Thank you. So just following Fiona, so yes, so we added, we had 60,000 in for the HVAC because we were thinking that we are going to do 2 schools based on our last meeting. So I put back 90 in there, so we have a total of the original 150 that we had in there. So there's just a couple other things we did. I actually put the 3 teachers in at $58,697 a piece, which comes to $176.91. So that is a new addition also since our last meeting when the board decided to put them in. So those are in. And I also added $6,000, which is for field turf, which was an omission on my part. This is, we contract to have the high school field maintained, and this is very good insurance and a very good money well spent to keep us up to when we feel that high schools complete. So those are the only additions. So that brings us to a total budgeted amount for the 23-24 school year of $81,561,265.97, or a 4.39% increase over last year. And if we're throwing numbers out there, we're $3,430,143 higher than last year.
What did we get last year?
We were at 7, you want last year's number?
Yeah.
$78,131,123.
And that represented what percentage increase? Does anybody remember? It's two.
But that was for the capital.
Right, capital was 0.
Yeah, I'll send it out. I have a
Yeah,
sheet at
just
home.
give you the update.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, send it out. So just to put in perspective, one, I want to thank everyone in the buildings and central office for all the work on the budget. I know it starts early and it's not an easy process. And then all of the members of the Board of Education. I did send out on the board chair listserv a request to see what people were going into their towns and cities for an increase, and if any had finalized what they got. Everyone that's replied is going in at 4.5 to 5.5% just to cover all their contractual increases. Some have already gotten approved with minimal cuts, $500,000 cut, one got $600,000 cut. So I'll continue to collect that data as people are finalizing their budgets to kind of put it in perspective of where everyone across the state stands. Some of these communities are communities like Torrington, so I think it's interesting to see what everyone else is doing. And I think this is one of the benefits to COVID, is that it's opened up a lot of these communication channels to be able to easily access this information. Right. So from my standpoint, I'm very comfortable with the board moving forward to the city with the recommended amount from the budget committee with the addition of the HVAC and those teachers being put back into the budget. But open the floor for any discussion if anyone has anything they want to relook at or consider or remove. Everybody's good?
Breaking records is what we are.
Food service update.
Monthly financials.
I'm sorry, not the financial.
So short, the monthly financials are a month old now. So I'll answer any questions, but we did go over the budget. But I just want to tell you what the plan is for next budget committee meeting and full board meeting. So we have the month end Friday. So Monday morning, I'll be running all the reports, and then I'm meeting with all the department heads before Wednesday. And then I'll be meeting with Sue towards the end of the week, because I know everybody wants to know where we think we're going to land the year. So I think now that we're through March, we have 3 months left, I think we'll be able to have a pretty accurate number where we're going to come in at our next meeting. So that's the plan going forward.
We don't have another budget meeting until the third week in April, right? We skipped a week, so that gives you time to whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Right.
We need to know by the end of this.
Yeah.
But yes, we don't have a board meeting. until then.
I have a question.
We don't want to bring people in on April vacation.
No. Oh, that's right, it's April vacation, that's why.
Right.
Go ahead.
On the expense, page 38 of 106. Item 5350, technical services, I'm just wondering what's included in that? And if the purchase of the Parent Square program had any impact on this number, because we're 147% of the budget.
5350, you said?
52.
What was the 4?
5130, no, 5330, sorry. Page 3 of 6 of the monthly financials.
5330 professional development. Are you?
5350.
Yeah, 5350. It's about a quarter of the
Jeff's
number.
talking to me in my life.
You're looking at the monthly
Trying to answer
financials?
Jeff- Scott's questions, looking at this.
I'm sorry.
This one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at the budget. That's why.
Oh, okay, no, sorry, monthly financials.
5350.
It's technical services.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's been 147% over. Yeah, I don't think that's been that much of a jump.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's, I believe that's partly E-rate, and we're gonna get a, when we get,
Oh, we'll get money back.
yes,
Okay, perfect.
but I will double
Double
check
check,
that. but
okay.
I'm almost
That makes
positive
sense.
that's what it is.
That would make sense.
Yeah, especially in technical services, that's.
A lot of that comes back. Okay.
Any other questions on the monthly financials?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't know if this was this is, oh, this was in minutes maybe. I did have a question on, because it came up in budget, so maybe this is a good place to ask it. The security grant applications that were going to be submitted. I think the deadline was April 30th. Do we know if those went in?
No, we haven't, we're still acquiring quotes on what we want to do. We'll present that at the next facility committee.
Okay, I thought we were gonna submit it just like as a blanket grant for infrastructure, for security infrastructure for 200,000.
We can't submit it blanketly. They want it line item, and they want it line item per building. That's the way the last grant was, that's the way this grant would be. So
Okay.
actually, we tried that the last time, right? We submitted in the radios, let's say, the radios were $254,000. And what the state did was they went in and they took the 254 and they divided it amongst all the buildings, and then they
Oh,
omitted a
right.
building, and then we had to go back for a budget amount. It was a big
Okay.
mess, so Donna's fantastic at making sure that those grants can be a little dicey at times, so.
So you already have a plan for the money.
it's-
Get it.
Yes, well, we have a plan on what we're gonna submit in on the grant. So we're just getting the quotes so that, because they do have to get submitted in with a quote from our contractor. And then obviously after that, we go out to bid. So we're making sure that the quotes are high enough that when we go out to bid, that we'll be able to cover that.
But we'll do an executive session at the next budget meeting.
Oh, all
So
right.
next meeting, so they
To
can-
go over it all?
Yeah.
Okay.
So will that be enough time though? That has to be submitted by April 30th because the board meeting is
When's the 26th?
26.
We're still okay.
Yeah, no, it's, the basic grant application is an hour or two's worth of work up Donna's time. And she has all of the information already laid out from the last grant that we did. This is just another one laid right on top of it, so it's all the same information, so there's a lot of stuff we don't have to do. So, yeah, we'd have plenty of time to get it submitted.
I think it'd be really helpful to make sure that the budget committee gets that information in advance so that they can look through it before the budget committee meeting. Otherwise, I think it's going to be tough for them to receive it and decide if
Review
they're
it
going to
and
move
then
it to the
meet.
board.
Yeah, that would be, even if it's a day before
Yeah,
the
it
meeting,
just would be helpful.
you know, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be a long time.
Yeah, so so I expect to see all of my finalized quotations come back at the end of next week. So then we would start to, work on a grant application process and all that stuff, and I'll get that information out prior to the meeting.
Yeah, I think so from the board's perspective, because we don't know really what we're even looking at to put in that grant. I think that's more what we need to absorb than the actual grant application. Does that make sense? So we don't need like that. I think we just
No,
need to
no,
know
you
this
want to
is
know,
what
you
we're
want to know
looking.
what we're requesting in funding.
Right, I think that,
Absolutely.
I mean, does everyone agree
Yeah.
or?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's not a problem. Would you like a narrative on that then?
I think it's just difficult without knowing what we're even looking to put in, to have to just get it all and try to think about it, and make a decision that night to move it because we're on a tight timeframe. Glenn,
Yeah, just one question with some of those set items from a budget perspective. I think it's important to understand what the annual recurring fees would be for some said things, because that's the decision moving forward from day one on.
Absolutely.
So recurring fees are important to understand.
so how many items are we talking about, just out of curiosity, like is it? How many things are we gonna have to review? Sue had suggested maybe swapping the meetings if it's gonna be a lot. Your meetings and their meetings. But if it's not a lot of items, maybe that's not necessary.
Potentially it's, well, and it's going to impact every single school building, but potentially it's really like 3 different items, but it's 5. We wouldn't do,
Oh, right.
we wouldn't do the high school.
Got
We would not expand upon the current high school as it exists.
Yeah, what do people feel? I'm just concerned about us, if there's any
Timing and stuff.
concerns, that just the timing of it, it's tight.
Question would be distinguished along this. So does that give you enough time if you meet 2 weeks later than we were going?
I think the plan was we would notify the person before.
May first.
Before May 1st, right, yeah.
Would that give you enough time? Yeah, would that give you enough time if that got bumped to next week?
I can't answer that question. only because I don't know what the time frame of getting all the quotes back is. I was told that I would probably have them back next week sometime. Whether that would be in time for that meeting or not, I don't have that answer. I can find that answer out.
Yeah, can you find out and then just have Sue let me know?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We'll have them back, then we
Yeah,
can swap them.
absolutely.
If we're not gonna have them, we won't swap them.
I can push a little bit. They've had them for a while, so.
Yeah, I'm just concerned if there's follow-up questions or things. I just want to make sure we don't keep that, miss that deadline.
That's
I mean,
fine with us.
basically, in a simple explanation, we're building upon the foundation that we put in the last grant. So that's really what we're doing. That's the reason why we did what we did in the last grant. Now we're building upon that.
I appreciate all your work on this.
Thank you, John.
Not easy. It's always a tight time frame, so thank you. Food service update.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, we drafted a letter to go to Andy Paul stating that Torrington is going to go to a full in-house food service child nutrition program. We're a quasi one now, but so the managers are going to come in. We'll have to post for a food service director just locally in the paper. So that's what we're going to do. And there is just a slight savings by bringing them onto our books. We know the cafeteria is a self-funding program, so it doesn't touch the GP or anything. So just wanted to bring that up to the board so we can send that letter out. And that's all that's required of us to comply with anything that the state has to say.
The benefit is we don't have to do an RFP.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's all in-house essentially, and then we'll have control of our own cafeteria managers.
Yeah.
Principals can work with cafeteria managers and cafeteria staff, and I don't have to wait for another entity, because it was strange before, where cafeteria managers were at advance, so. Makes it easier,
Good.
better, more efficient.
Okay, any questions on that? 2023, 2024 board goals. Any time to think about what we discussed?
Is that what we just discussed? We discussed making a change to like one word at the beginning of the fifth goal. What page is that on? 42.
106.
There it is. Got it. It's on the back. That's fine.
Number 8, yeah.
Yeah, number 8. Yeah, some people were concerned about that one. Other people didn't care about that one.
I think by changing the word to maintain, everybody was agreed along, weren't we?
I think that was a compromise.
I mean, open for discussion. Just like to just get them in place so that we have them for July 1st. And, you know, 'cause technically, the committees and all of the sub-entities of the board should be working on things that tie back to the board goals. So I want to just make sure that we're getting them in place in advance at the start of the next year. Since we started this process in October, looking for board goals, and then we ended up just putting them together. So we're open for discussion, but I really don't want to have to keep moving these because we've already spent a lot of time on these. So open suggestions if people want addition, removal, word change, but let's try to wrap these up. No questions? Okay, through 5 reading program adoption. So exciting.
Exciting. I think every one of you was at the school improvement committee meeting, right? Here. But you heard the
Yes,
presentation.
heard it. It
I
was
don't know if
fantastic.
anybody after, yes, thank you, Andrew. So I don't know if anybody had, after a week or two, has any thinking about things, if you have any additional questions about the program that you want to.
The only thing I had is the 6th grade piece, if we're gonna be able to consider getting that now as one package that's cohesive of the whole program, even if we can't implement it right away, but.
So we did ask for a quote. It's only another $72,000 for grade 6. Additional, right, an additional 72,000. What I think that we had was just under $1 million. But it's pretty. So what's coming around first is K5. I wrote K5 at the top, and then the next packet is the K6. So I just calculated the differential. So you'll see that the K6 is like 1.1 million, and K5 is just under $1 million. Yeah. It's a lot of detail, probably more than you want or need, but if you just go to the bottom line, you'll see that the K5 quote was around $938,000. And when you add the 6th grade, it goes just up over $1 million.
So my feeling on this is a K-6 program. And I think too often we are penny wise and pound foolish as far as trying to skim things short and do a little bit. And I think we should really consider a method of, if we're gonna do it, let's do it right. Let's get the whole program so that there's continuum, because if they're getting this K-5 and then it's completely different for 6th grade, I think that's gonna be really complicated, not for next year's students, but as this is moving along. So I think it's worth the investment myself. I'm sure there'll be another time where we may possibly have funding to pay for something like that. So I would like to see the board consider getting the whole correct program and not pieces of it.
I just want to, you basically said this, Fiona, that I don't know that it would be feasible to implement in grade 6 this coming year, but we would have the resource available for the future.
Yeah,
right?
because the other kids wouldn't be getting it till next
Right.
year, so it wouldn't really need to be till the
Right.
following year,
Right.
is what I was thinking.
Right,
Which would
because
give-
there's implications for scheduling at the middle school, and, we had a pretty thorough process, as you heard at the school improvement meeting, and that involved stakeholders from K through 5. We did not include grade 6, so we would want to make sure that prior to rolling something like that out at 6th grade, they were brought into the conversation. They would appreciate it. Yes. Jeff, did you have a question?
I did one quick question. The program we picked was not officially on the state list yet. Do we have any update from them on that?
So Andrew and I had a conversation the next morning with the representative from the Literacy Center about a couple of things, including that. Right now, what the state is doing is, so there's a House bill before the legislature to stall this whole process in Hartford by 2 years. So really what, so they received, the SDE received close to 100 waivers from districts across the state, asking to be exempted from purchasing or adopting one of the state approved programs and just sticking with what they're currently doing. These waivers average, 90 to 150 pages in length. The state doesn't have the capacity to review all of these waivers. So that's the reason for the pause. And they're trying to buy themselves some time to be thoughtful and get through all of this. The other piece of this is they're contracting with a third party reviewer to continue to look at programs such as this one, that have now made it into the ed reports with all green. We don't have a timeline on that, but they're looking at, it's not gonna be for several months. So well into the summer, probably fall, before districts start to get some sort of response to the waiver. We did submit a waiver asking to adopt this program. So I guess full disclosure, we're not gonna have approval from the state before we wanna move ahead with this. I have every reason to believe it's going to receive approval because it's been vetted through the same process that all the others have. So I guess that's a decision, you know, we would like to move forward. We really believe in our hearts that our kids can't wait 2 years. We've been waiting a long time. So, I mean, it's a fair question. It's, you know, it's a lot of money.
This is the one that was on the report that met all of the criteria.
Yes.
And even from the state, they said at some point, yes, but they just can't even process everything that they have right now to come back in session to approve another group of programs.
Yeah, they're just not ready to do that, and they've hired this outside agency to do that for them because they don't have the staff.
So long to figure it out. We'll already implement it.
Exactly.
My feeling is really, and I think something like this is worth pushing back on the state if there's any issues.
Right.
You know, I value the work that the committee did. These people spent a lot of time on it. The teachers know our kids, they know what our kids need. So, I mean, I would like the board to strongly consider just taking their recommendation. They are the experts. These people did a lot of work on this, and we've needed this for 10 years. And to watch another group of kids continue to fall behind, you know, we need to do what's best for Torrington, not the state.
And they were all unanimous, and the presentation was very impressive. If it wasn't here, that's in the crowd. It was an amazing group of people who were all on board together. That this was the right direction for Torrington. It was just a question to see if we had an update, not a concern.
No, but it's a fair question,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, I have some, I feel like I'm breaking a rule. I've been doing a lot of that lately. But
By the time this comes down, we're gonna show growth, and it'll be an
Right.
easier argument.
Yeah, they'll use our data to go ahead and pass this through.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
In a good way.
Couldn't we then apply for a waiver?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So we
Exactly.
still have another avenue.
yes.
Any other questions on the reading program?
I did have one other
Okay.
question. If we choose to adopt this, are we adopting just what is on these invoices? Because there were additional materials that were also in that folder that I think I had asked about at that meeting. I was told that some of those things weren't to purchase all of those sets of books and things like that. So I just want to be clear.
Right, the quote is for what you see.
So that's what we're voting for.
And
is just
that's
what's
what-
here, not
just what's
other
here.
materials that they also offer that could be purchased later.
Correct.
Any other questions? GMS roof. I'll be so happy when we're done.
So, yes, in the packet, 43, page 43 of 106.
Sorry, John.
He has a question.
So it says digital print 5 years, so that means this is good for 5 years, we have access to this information.
Oh, in the back? Is that
No,
what-
on every line
The
item,
line
it says copy print and digital 5 year. So if we want to keep this going after 5 years, is that another $1 million for another 5 years?
I don't know. Andrew, do you know the answer to that?
I believe there were just like consumable pieces that we would have to purchase again after those 5 years.
Yeah, I
So,
don't
you
know.
know, student workbooks.
Which is
the
what we
entire
do now.
curriculum.
We do that now though for our math. and reading
I'll make a
programs.
call tomorrow. I'll make a call tomorrow.
Well, there's probably, I would imagine, some
money budgeted every year to replace materials that are wearing out. So like that program has a lot of rule books, which a lot of those aren't gonna last indefinitely.
Right.
But you would just purchase them as needed.
Right, and I think that 5-year too, I mean, they're gonna, they do a curriculum review also, they have a curriculum review cycle. And I guess it's a 5-year, they're just going to continue.
As long as we budget accordingly, if we want to keep it going after the 5 years, it's somehow we need to update things or whatever. As long as this is a great program. We can make sure that we're budgeting the extra $200,000 a year to keep it going after 5.
Yes, we're gonna have to continue to replace consumables, as Andrew just said, yes. Yeah, but that's an easy question to get answered.
Right. Thanks. Sorry, Jen.
No worries.
Go ahead.
All right. We're getting closer to making sure this roof never gets talked about again. So 43 of 106 in your packet is that's just the page for the price. This is Gale Associates. They are also the same firm that did the engineering review on the roof. Their price is for $284,600. That's 6.2% of the total project cost. So really within that 10%, well within the 10% of what an architect would charge for total project cost at $4.6 million. What this will get you is it'll get you through all the state process. It will get the design, it will get the drawings, it will get the specifications. They'll do the bidding process. They'll write all the RFPs. They'll go through all the grant applications. There's multiple site meetings or state meetings. I understand now OSCGNR now has another person that's left, and things are being held up again up there. So we're definitely going to need a qualified person to help us get through that process. They get difficult.
They cover, you listed everything, and I'm sure there's more things, but they'll get permits and everything that's needed
Yeah.
to
So
proceed.
so permits will be listed in the contractor. So the architect doesn't do permits, but the
But they'll
contractor.
include that in the,
It will be
contract.
included in the RFP that it will be the contractor's responsibility.
yeah, you only got one.
I sent it out to 5 bidders, and we only received 1 bidder to come to the mandatory meeting. That's all I got. And it was posted in the papers. And I'm surprised because there seemed to be, of the 5 I sent out, there seemed to be a lot of interest in it. They never showed up.
Questions on that? Other questions? Foyer proposal.
So that starts on page 44. 45. And goes on there. I presented that at the facilities committee. You all received a copy of that, so you should have been able to review that if you have any questions. That would be for a project for this summer. So start of next school year, there would be new locked foyers at Torrington Middle School and Torrington School.
Field trip, Westover Air Reserve Base, Chickadees.
Right, so this was submitted by Carl Flores and Sergeant Sullivan to learn about the operations at an air reserve base.
Any questions on the field trip?
Yeah, it's something that they do, that they were doing annually, and so field trips were kind of
was for the pandemic, but. No, one. There aren't that many students, yeah.
The funding source, did they fundraise for that? They don't have to pay for it, do they? 681.
They said it's JROTC funds, so
Oh, okay.
it's
So
self-funded.
it's not out of pocket.
Right.
Committee reports, budget. Enough said.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Facilities and tech.
Covered everything as well. Major topics, the roof and the lawyers.
We all talk about how important the middle school roof and the foyer projects are, but no one describes those presentations as wonderful. Our presentation of the reading program was described as wonderful and is available on our recorded meeting records. So anyone who wants to see it, it goes on quite a while, but it's worth it. I would recommend it in next month, depending on which date, which yet to be determined. We'll finally get to social promotion, and that could be a lot of fun, depending, certainly important. And it could be a lot of fun.
I just want to let you know that you just set the bar high for the facilities department. Okay?
Policy.
Yes, wonderful's not a word we often use. We discussed dress code, it will be coming back before the start of the next school year. Facilities use, there's more work that needs to be done on that, so that will also come back. That one will come back next meeting.
A building committee, as all of you can see, the project is coming along amazing. Cranes seem to be something that really excited the high school kids, Brian, let's say. Boom, coming up. I will say Brian from ONG has been doing an amazing job at updating the building committee with very detailed reports of basically everything everybody's doing every minute on that job. So the building committee meetings are out there. It's interesting to watch. They're doing a good job of keeping in front of the costs. It's really, really getting exciting. Any questions on anything with that? The only issue we are having is now with the changeover again at OCR. The third person we've had has now left, and that's likely going to delay payments and stuff on the project. We're hoping not, but until that position is filled or they put an interim in, everything kind of stops. So we're hoping they fill that soon. Curriculum committee.
So we were unable to schedule a meeting last month because of superintendent search meetings and because of all budget committee meetings that were taking place. We tried, but it was too much. So we're gonna do that. Next couple of weeks.
Liaison reports. Go first.
Torrington.
Go ahead.
How we submit this. This past Saturday, we had our kindergarten readiness fair. The event brought in community vendors, coupled with kindergarten teachers to give families information and support as they begin getting ready to have a kindergarten student in Torrington. It was well attended and we got to meet several of our new students and families. Torrington third graders took the COG at a couple of weeks ago, test for giftedness. Is that what it's called? COG.
COGAP.
COGAP. It's split into
Cognitive
two words.
achievement. It's actually one,
COGAP.
so it's capital C-O-G.
Yeah. I
Capital
should've
A,
asked.
capital T.
Sorry. Mine is it in two words. I'm like, COGAP. A couple of weeks ago, to test for giftedness, 8 students at Torrington met the criteria. Tim Gaffney came to kick off Kids Marathon. Several high school students, as well as Jessica Stewart from Fit Together, hosted an assembly for the third graders. The marathon will take place at the high school in June. Conferences are this week. I love this. All second and third grade classes are doing student-led conferences. Spring STAR testing has begun. We'll use this new data to help formulate our final round of intervention, as well as win groups that target specific needs prior to smarter balance testing. Over spring break, our new seesaw that we were awarded through Fit Together grant will be installed on the playground. Office of Teaching and Learning conducted non-evaluative walkthroughs at Torrington and other buildings to support administration in developing the skills learned that our district-wide professional staff. They have 102 students registered already for kindergarten for next year. And just on a personal note, I went and walked the building. Kelly and I walked through and visited some classrooms. It was great to walk through and see the energy. Well, I gotta tell you, there is not 1 inch of an empty extra space in that building. Every closet that was there is being used for something. So it'll be interesting when we start our facility our study, what's gonna happen, because they're bursting at the seams. So anyway, it was great visit. Great things are happening.
Thank you. Reports, Jeff, and then Sue, and then Helen.
Sure, I've got the Southwest School Report. Tim Gaffney and some of our THS students were here last week to kick off the Kids Marathon. Spring STAR testing has begun. Parent-teacher conferences are happening tonight, tomorrow, and Friday, running alongside of our Scholastic School Book Fair. This week marks the end of our Pie a Teacher fundraiser that's happening to raise money for the 5th grade. Southwest and Forbes are doing a 5th grade event up at the middle school in June. This Friday is also Pajama Day, so you'll see a lot of kids running around in their cute pajamas with a $1 donation. Our student council recently sold pretzels and shamrock shakes on St. Patrick's Day during lunch to raise money for Field Day t-shirts, so they can all be dressed the same. The 4th grade students just got to go back to the New England Air Museum for the first time in several years in person, which was really exciting. The 5th grade students are going to White Memorial in June. Each week, a homeroom continues to get recognized by earning the most tokens every day, and they're awarded this really cool dragon trophy that kind of moves from room to room, so the kids get very excited about that. Staff members continue to recognize each other every week by paying forward the gratitude dragon and express words of appreciation to a colleague for their kindness offered throughout the day. And the PTO sister school had their St. Patrick's Day dance that was well attended by over half of the students in the school attended. Many thanks to the parent volunteers and the staff who donated experiences for the raffle. Staff was really great and donating items or hey, go with your teacher for lunch one day or go to a hike or something along those lines. So had a great experience with that as well, and more to come next month.
Torrington Middle School. TMS has had a very busy month. Students have completed STAR testing in math and science, and they're looking forward to measuring the growth, which is something we always love to see too. The selection process for the National Junior Honor Society is underway. Mrs. Rinaldi has reported that they have over 50 students that qualify based on their GPA. However, the chapter bylaws only allow them to induct 10% of the 7th grade, so that will be a very competitive application process. It'll be exciting for them. This month during advisory, 2 separate Pride of Torrington March Madness tournaments took place. One inside the building and one through the TMS Instagram page. Pride of Torrington seeks to set a positive tone about our community by reflecting on its tremendous institutions. Starting with 35 options, the building tournament, in which the students and staff could vote, yielded an exact tie in the final match between the Warner Theater and Christmas Village. That's great. Meanwhile, the social media tournament, in which 100 people voted in the finals, resulted in the St. Jude Telethon being named the Pride of Torrington. Also making it to the Final Four for both tournaments was a Memorial Day parade in our very own Torrington Public Schools Music Department. Next month, we hope to honor the Warner Theater, Christmas Village, and the St. Jude Telethon as symbols of our community at its absolute best. Updates for the 8th grade class. 8th graders have a lot to look forward to as the year comes to an end. They're extremely pleased to be bringing back the 8th grade class dance night, or the class night. at the request of parents and staff. The theme this year will be a night at the Oscars. How fun. All dressed in red carpets and everything like that. Sorry. Let's see, the theme this year will be the Oscars, a night at the Oscars. And they're so fortunate to have such dedicated staff that always show up to support the students. The students and staff at TMS are also looking forward to the Washington DC field trip coming up on the May 23rd to the 26th. As of now, there are 144 students registered for this wonderful experience. Highlights on this year's experience include visits to Arlington National Cemetery, where the students will participate in the wreath laying ceremony, the Smithsonian Museum of African American History, touring the well-known monuments of Washington, DC, and visiting with the congressional staff on the steps of the US Capitol. New for this year's trip will include an excursion to Gettysburg, site of the turning point of the Civil War. Two leaders are also attempting to organize a tour of the US Capitol building. We're extremely happy to report that through our funding activities, a child who wanted to go on the trip was able to do so. That's fantastic. For students not going on the trip, the 8th grade team is planning a week full of engaging learning experiences. Updates for the arts. TMS is extremely proud of the experiences our students receive in the arts. 7th graders Lily Artrup and Owen Miller performed with the Connecticut Music Educators Association Northern Region Honors Band. This group is made up of the best middle school students across the state, as determined by their audience back in January. Their auditions, I'm sorry. Overall, 400 middle school students from 46 middle schools participated in orchestra, chorus, and jazz band. A big round of applause goes to the cast and crew of Fiddler on the Roof. This month, the students put on a wonderful performance for the school community. Kudos to the cast, crew, Ronnie Gellermino, Andrew Skinner, and Allison Michaelek for a job well done. Our Best Buddies program is officially up and running. Students have been matched and are forming friendships. This month, 7th and 8th grade students in the program spent time eating breakfast together and playing games. The 6th grade students chose to socialize in lunch bunches. Plans for next month are to hold a few after-school activities. Our students are not only making an impact in the school, but in the greater community as well. Yesterday, Ashley Ceruto from the Susan B. Anthony Project came to the school to be presented with a $515 donation raised by the students in our Entrepreneurs Club. Following the presentation of the check, there was a reception. This morning, Mrs. Rinaldi received a wonderful email from Ashley that said, "Thank you so much for the lovely donation reception yesterday at TMS. I was really touched by the group's story and all the details that went into the fundraising itself, as well as the check presentation. The kids were really inspiring. I left the school feeling so uplifted by their initiative and generosity. As I watched our students go back to our community, I could not be more proud, give back to our community. I could not be more proud as I thought this is what school is really about. We are expecting great things as we move throughout the year." And yeah, that was a very busy month for Torrington Middle School. I wish I had some water. Thank you, Ms. Rinaldi.
Mr. Klein writes, appreciative of the efforts of Forbes and Southwest teams that are working hard at being able to organize and put on a fantastic 5th grade fun day for both schools. Thankful to our wonderful PTO, Mr. Bader, for facilitating a great movie night at Forbes that had a tremendous turnout. Our 4th graders had a wonderful experience at the New England Air and Space Museum and learned a great deal of history and engineering in the process. We're excited about being able to connect with the families this week at our parent conferences and share the great growth that our students have had over this year. We appreciate the local fundraisers that some of the restaurants such as Cobblestone and Your Aroma in the community have been able to help with this week. Excited about seeing our students take their STAR test this week and excited to celebrate their growth and progress. Thankful also to Tim Gaffney and our wonderful volunteers at the high school who came and did a fun assembly for our students to get them excited about this year's Kid Marathon. Can't wait for the next few weeks where we have concerts, assemblies, field day, and more, many more great experiences to celebrate our students this year. Anyone else have anything?
Ed Advance finally closed totally on that Sacred Heart Grove Street property. And the city was able to give them, was generous enough to give them property to square off the piece that they bought. So now they can build the building, the preschool and school building to the size they want without having to modify and cut back and make narrower hallways and things like that. So thanks to the mayor for that. But otherwise, not much going on at this moment.
I did have a request from a couple of board members regarding the liaison reports. One big thing was that the board doesn't ever know when things are going on in the schools until after things have happened. And I think some board members would like the opportunity to go to some of the events, but they don't know they're occurring. So someone has suggested the possibility of mailing or emailing the reports and attaching them to the minutes and having at the board meeting discussing upcoming events at each site and just putting it out there. We don't have to decide tonight. We can talk about it next month, but that was just a suggestion.
Well, that's a good idea.
I think it becomes like as May and June approaches, there's so much going on. So just think about it and we'll talk about it next month. Someone suggested it, so I just wanted to put that there. School community service, public participation. The board invites members of the community to speak on topics to be addressed on the agenda or other topics of interest. Individuals wishing to make comments must state their name and address at the beginning of the comment. The board will not allow comments regarding specific staff members, parents, students, or personal grievances. Courtesy is expected in this limited public forum. The participating time will be limited to 3 minutes per person and 10 minutes overall to guarantee efficient operation of the meeting. Jason Lafreniere.
Good evening, Jason Lafreniere, Byron Drive, Granbury, Connecticut, special education teacher at Torrington Middle School. First of all, thank you for amending the agenda. I thought maybe there would be others to speak, but I think I'm the only one. So first, my prayers and thoughts go out to the national community as they endure the fallout of the tragedy that happened there 2 days ago. I wish there was more thoughts and prayers that more than thoughts and prayers that I could offer. Action is needed. As an educator, it was important for me to watch the body cam footage of that incident. I hope that my colleagues and I, along with our law enforcement, can act in as calm, focused, and swift a manner as those staff and officers did. I prayed that I would never be in such a situation, but alas, today TMS went into secure school mode because of an incident occurring in the area of TMS. I've always said I will do whatever I need to make sure that our students are safe and able to go home at the end of each day. And today, school administrators, my colleagues, law enforcement, myself, and students did what needed to be done. For that, I say thank you. Yet I should not have to be talking about such scenarios and will continue to advocate for safer school environments. On a lighter note, I'm not sure how many people know this, but our first superintendent was Edwin Forbes, hired in 1896. He served as superintendent for 18 years. Mr. George Vogel was our second and longest serving superintendent, leading the district for 27 years. For the first 92 years as a district, Torrington had a total of 5 superintendents. Since 1989, we've had a total of 18 different appointments. Mr. Michael Wilson, who was announced as our superintendent yesterday, slated to start July 1st, will be Torrington's 23rd appointed superintendent. I would like to thank the board for taking it upon themselves to solicit, interview, investigate, and appoint a new school superintendent in just a matter of a few short months. You did this all while carrying on your personal lives as well as the business of the board. And we know how busy the last few months have been with budget season. I wish Mr. Wilson all the best and welcome to Torrington. I look forward to his leadership and direction for years to come. Secondly, I encourage the board to approve the proposed 23-24 budget that is being sent to you tonight by the budget subcommittee, of which I'm a teacher representative. This budget honors the contractual obligations agreed upon by this board and the Board of Finance and the Town Council, and maintain services, programs, and staffing that are deemed necessary to educate the future of Torrington. As we move forward, though, I ask the question, should our budgets maintain the status quo, or should we be working to move students in the district forward even more so than we already are? Lastly, the board speaks often about the morale of the district. I have one proposal that I feel could help to boost the morale of students, parents, and staff while saving the district money. It is my understanding that state statute requires districts to provide 180 days and 900 hours of instruction. Our school calendar consists of 181 student days and almost 1,200 hours of instruction. With this last snowstorm, the last day of school was potentially pushed to Monday, June 19th. This is now a federal holiday, Juneteenth. This district has not made that a school holiday, but if school was to be in session that day, I hope that it would be treated like Veterans Day, and meaningful and well-planned activities geared toward teaching about the spirit of the day would be required. However, is it possible to keep the last day of school at Friday, June 16th for students, which would maintain the 180 days and still over 1,100 instructional hours? I can imagine not having to prepare the buildings for students after the weekend and opening for one day in a new week, just for staff, could be financially beneficial to the district. I understand that teacher contracts require us to work 186 days, which would require staff to come in on June 19th, but perhaps an agreement between the board and the unions could be considered. This is just something to think about, and hopefully I didn't jinx us with Mother Nature. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Entertain a motion to approve the Alliance Diversity Recruitment Grant Residency Programs as a bundle.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. John and Jeff.
Entertain a motion to approve the ESS substitute services.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Kathy and Sue.
Entertain a motion to move forward to the city an operating budget with an increase of 4.39% and instruct the administration to prepare the booklets and to submit to the city by the deadline.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Kathy and Jeff.
Entertain a motion to approve the monthly financials. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Sue and John.
Entertain a motion to approve the food services.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Jeff and Kathy.
So
Jeff and Sue, sorry.
entertain a motion to approve the Board of Ed 2023, 2024 board goals.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
John and Kathy.
So I'm going to first put out a motion to approve the K through 6 reading program adoption.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Entertain a motion to approve the TMS roof bid proposal.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Glenn and John.
Entertain a motion to approve the locked foyers bid proposal.
Second.
All those in favor?
Glenn and John again.
Entertain a motion to approve the field trip to Westover Air Reserve Base in Chicopee, Massachusetts.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Jeff and Kathy.
Entertain a motion to approve the Board of Education regular meeting minutes of March 1st. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Sue and John.
I abstained, Fiona was not there.
Entertain a motion to approve the Board of Ed special meeting minutes of March 8th.
What meeting was that?
That's so many.
It's a budget.
Budget.
It was a budget,
It was
okay.
budget.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Entertain a motion to receive the committee meeting minutes in a bundle.
Second.
All those in favor?
John and Sue.
Aye.
Aye.
Entertain a motion to receive the consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
John and Sue.
Items from coming agenda, we will have monthly financials.
Are we flip flopping?
We won't
Meetings,
know.
yeah.
I'll have to let you know tomorrow after John checks with the contractors. Any other We'll have plenty on there, don't worry, we'll fill it up.
Sure, we'll fill up.
All right. Comments for the good of the order. John, we'll start with you.
Good.
Kim,
Good, thank you.
Thanks very much for approving the reading program. Very excited. It's been years in the making. Our children thank you.
Sue.
Yes, thank you all for your presentations. Thank you, Sue, for your lead. And thank you, board, for everything that you do for us all the time. Your time, your effort, your energies. Hopefully you'll be able to enjoy what's in your book. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Sue. And
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for very
Sue.
Thank you for the floors. Sue, thank you for the presentation. I also just want to recognize again our staff that participates in the LEAP program, because it just is such an amazing program, and I hear so much from the community about it, that how successful it is. So just thank you to the staff and for you guys for all your efforts. So that's all.
Thanks for cool. It was very cool, and I love the green eggs in hand.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Good.
That was the most laughing I've seen before since I've joined.
Yeah.
That was great, great short meeting tonight, unbelievable.
Yes, very
Thank
excited.
you everybody for all of their efforts. I just want to point out a lot of good things happened tonight. You know, a lot of things moved forward, a lot of exciting changes in the district, and I'm excited to see them happen. So thank you all.
Marissa.
Garden fair was amazing. I saw a couple of people that we knew there, and my girls are really excited. I think we were
Do you have anything?
Josh?
So on my way to the meeting tonight, I had the pleasure of driving by the Cobblestone Restaurant and seeing the school mascots out there jumping up and down for the PTO night. It was so great to see. I literally almost got rear-ended trying to stop to look and see what schools it was, but it's so great to see like excitement building with schools and all of the work that goes into these kinds of things. So thank you. Also, just want to thank everyone that came out last night. It was great to give people the opportunity. I'm happy for the people that came, so it's much appreciated. And I will get back to everyone on the meeting changes. For those of you that we will not see, put your feet up and enjoy April vacation. It's well deserved and long overdue. Feels like a long time since we've had regular day off, so enjoy it. Future meetings, I will again let you guys know if there's going to be a swap to the committee meetings. Regular board, April 26th, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Johnny, Jeff.